Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Gates. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Beyond the Gates, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You know that feeling when you walk into a place that smells like 100 memories at once? That's how I felt walking into Pamela's kitchen that Friday morning. The aroma of her hazelnut coffee hit me before I even saw her, and for a split second, I wished I could rewind time, back to when we'd sit here laughing about our bad dates and late-night mistakes, not about the mess I'd made this time. Pamela Curtis has been my best friend since high school, the kind of woman who never sugarcoats anything, who tells you when you have spinach in your teeth and when you're about to ruin your life. And honestly, that's exactly what I needed that morning. She turned around when she saw me standing at the door, her brown eyes softening but her mouth twitching into that familiar half-smirk. Well, she said, pouring me a cup before I even asked. If it isn't the woman of scandal herself. I froze halfway to the counter. You heard? Dani, she sighed, motioning for me to sit. It's Fairmont Crest. Everyone's heard. You could sneeze, and by noon it's in the group chat. I sat down, my hands trembling around the mug. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, Pam. I didn't plan it. Pamela leaned back against the counter, crossing her arms. No one plans to kiss their boss in his office, sweetheart. And there it was, the words I'd been dreading. The truth, laid bare like a wound. It had been a long week. Bill and I had been working late, going over the new contract proposal for the city expansion. The tension between us had been there for months, lingering in every glance, every shared laugh that went a little too long. I told myself it was just chemistry, meaningless, temporary. But then that night happened. He had closed the door behind us after everyone left, the hum of the copier echoing in the background. One moment we were arguing about the proposal, and the next he was inches from me, his breath uneven, his hand brushing mine as if by accident. You drive me insane, Dani, he'd whispered. Good, I said, before I could stop myself. And then I kissed him. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't patient. It was years of frustration, loneliness, and something we both refused to name crashing together in one impossible, electric second. And then, like a lightning strike that burned too bright, it was over. I pulled back, shaking, realizing exactly what I'd done. Bill, I started, but he just looked at me, eyes full of conflict. I shouldn't have, he said quietly, but he didn't sound sorry. Now, days later, I sat in Pamela's kitchen, trying to explain something I barely understood myself. It wasn't supposed to happen, I repeated, my voice breaking. He's married, Pam. Hayley's a good woman. I never. Pamela cut me off with a raised hand. Stop. Don't say you never meant for it to happen. That's what everyone says before it happens again. I swallowed hard. You think I'm that kind of person? She sighed, pulling out a chair across from me. No. I think you're human. But you need to figure out what the hell you're doing before you break something you can't fix. Part 2. Hayley's breaking point. Meanwhile, across town, Hayley Richards was sitting on her front porch, tapping her fingers against the armrest like a metronome of anger. She'd seen the look in Bill's eyes lately, distant, distracted, like he was somewhere else entirely. She'd asked him a dozen times if something was wrong, and each time, he'd brushed it off with that calm lawyer voice of his. But that morning, while doing laundry, she'd found a lipstick stain on his collar. And not just any lipstick. Dani Dupree's signature coral shade. Hayley felt the world tilt for a second. She stared at that faint pink mark like it was a confession scrawled in neon lights. Her husband. Her marriage. All the nights she'd waited for him to come home late from work, it suddenly all made sense. When Bill came home that evening, she didn't wait. Who is she? Hayley asked, her voice calm in that terrifying way only betrayed women manage to sound. Bill froze by the door, briefcase in hand. What are you talking about? Don't insult me, she said sharply. I know, Bill. I know about Dani Dupree. For a moment, he just stared, his jaw tightening. It was a mistake, he muttered. Hayley let out a hollow laugh. Oh, that's rich. You make mistakes, Bill. You forget anniversaries. You misplace your car keys. You don't accidentally kiss another woman. I didn't plan it. Stop, she snapped. Don't give me that. I'm done with excuses. Bill looked down, his shoulders sagging. It meant nothing. Then, why does she live rent-free in your head? Hayley asked quietly. You think I don't see it? Every time her name comes up, you light up like a damn Christmas tree. There was no response. Just silence, the kind that fills every corner of a marriage that's been cracked open too many times. Part 3. Eva's Crossroads. Across town, another story was unfolding. Eva sat in her car outside the Fairmont Country Club, her mother's voice still echoing in her head. You have to fight for him, Eva. Tomas still loves you, he's just confused. Confused. That's what her mom always said, as if love was some math problem Tomas hadn't solved yet. But when Eva finally gathered the courage to walk in, she saw him sitting by the bar, and Kat was already there. Laughing. Touching his arm. Like she belonged there. Eva froze, every ounce of bravery draining from her body. She stood there long enough for Kat to notice her. Their eyes met for a moment that felt like forever, and then Kat smirked. That was it. The end of hope. Eva walked out, tears blurring the neon lights. Later that night, she found herself sitting in Mona's backyard, clutching a mug of tea she didn't even remember accepting. Mona, her mom's old friend, had always been like an aunt, steady, grounded, no nonsense. What happened, honey? Mona asked softly. Eva told her everything. The fight with her mom, the moment at the country club, the look on Kat's face. Mona listened quietly, then called out to the kitchen. Jan, you might want to hear this one. Jan walked in, still drying her hands on a dish towel, her eyebrows lifting as Eva's story spilled out. When Eva was done, both women exchanged a glance. It was the kind of look that said, we've seen this before. Mona leaned forward. Eva, your mom means well, but sometimes love advice from people who've been burned doesn't always help. Eva sniffled. I just wanted him to see me, to believe me. Jan sat beside her, squeezing her hand. Then stop chasing someone who doesn't. Let him come to you, or not at all. It wasn't what Eva wanted to hear, but deep down, she knew it was what she needed. Part 4. Confrontations and Consequences. Saturday morning came with storms, literal and emotional. Pamela showed up at Dani's apartment, her hair soaked from the rain. You better open this door, Dani Dupree, or I'm kicking it down. When Dani let her in, Pamela wasted no time. Hayley knows. Dani's heart dropped. What? How? Doesn't matter. What matters is what you're going to do now. Dani sank onto the couch. I didn't want to hurt her. Then don't make it worse. End it. Whatever this is with Bill, cut it off before everyone loses everything. Dani nodded slowly. You're right. But deep down, she wasn't sure she could. Part 5. The Cliffhanger. That night, Bill showed up at her door. His suit was soaked, his hair disheveled, and his eyes, tired but burning with something she couldn't name. I told Hayley, he said, about us. Dani froze. Why? Because I can't keep pretending. Before she could respond, thunder cracked outside, echoing the chaos inside her chest. Pamela's words rang in her ears. Cut it off before everyone loses everything. But it was too late. Everything was already unraveling. Part 6. Naomi and Jacob's Dilemma. Meanwhile, Naomi sat at her kitchen table, the pregnancy test still lying face down beside her. Jacob sat across from her, his expression unreadable. I can't, Naomi whispered. I'm not ready for this. Jacob rubbed his temples. I thought we wanted to build something together. I wanted a life, she said softly. Not this. Not right now. The silence between them was heavy, full of love and fear and everything they weren't saying. Outside, the storm continued, rain pounding the windows, thunder rolling through the night, like the whole town of Fairmont Crest was holding its breath, waiting for what would come next. Part 7. The Aftermath. By Sunday morning, news had spread. Faster than wildfire. Faster than truth. Everyone had a version of the story. Some said Dani was the villain. Some said Bill was. And some, the ones who knew how messy hearts could be, just sighed and said, "It's complicated." Because it always is. Pamela, Mona, Jan, they all met later that day at Pamela's house, sipping wine and wondering how to pick up the pieces of the people they loved. "Fairmont Crest never sleeps," Jan muttered. Pamela raised her glass. "Here's to the next disaster." They laughed, tired, broken laughter, because sometimes that's all you can do. Part 8. Eva's Resolve. Eva stood by the lake that evening, the same spot where Tomas had once promised her forever. She threw a small stone into the water, watching the ripples fade. For the first time in a long time, she didn't cry. She just stood there, letting the quiet wash over her, realizing she didn't need anyone to choose her. She could choose herself. Part 9. Closing Reflection. Looking back, that weekend felt like the unraveling of so many lives. Dani and Bill, Hayley's heartbreak, Eva's awakening, Naomi and Jacob's fragile hope. But in the middle of it all, there were still glimmers of something real: friendship, forgiveness, the stubborn spark of love that refused to die even when it should. Pamela once said, "Fairmont Crest is a town full of second chances. We just have to stop wasting them." Maybe she was right.